allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Matt, may we please have roll call?
Councillor Thompson?
Here.
Pearson?
Here.
Hanson?
Here.
Zadi?
Here.
Demas?
Here.
Pedri?
Here.
Bingham?
Here.
Malonis?
Here.
Mayor Mickelson.
Here. Okay, and with that, I will turn this show over to JJ and FEA.
As everybody knows, everyone in the crowd for sure, FEA has been working on this for quite some time and been on site and done the whole process to hopefully give more information to you concerning future of the Civic Center. And that's really all I have. And Maureen, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All righty, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you everyone for having us here. I wanted to give you a little bit of background about FEA. So my name is Maureen Roskoski, and I'm a vice president with FEA and been with FEA for over 25 years. As a company, we have been working in the built environment for over 30 years. This assessment that we did here is at the core of what we do. We do a lot of work in the public sector. That's one of our primary areas. And we have over 1,000 projects working with federal, state, and local governments, all in that built environment. So looking at buildings, sites, facility management operations, and facility management organizations. So what we did here was we provided a third-party evaluation of the building using our standard methodology that we use on buildings across the entire United States. So just a little bit of background. You guys probably know all of this about the building, but we were contracted specifically to perform what's called a facility condition assessment. And that is that standardized process of the building and site. So we've got this building that was constructed in 1929 and was approximately 13,000 gross square feet. Then donated to the city in the 70s. And at that time, a 2-story addition with a basement was constructed to the north that added a pool, locker rooms, racquetball courts, and then meeting and office space. So now that current building serves as a recreation center and has a total building area of around 40,000 gross square feet. So we had 2 assessors, both engineers, both long-time assessors with FEA, been doing this work for a long time. And we utilize our standard facility condition assessment methodology. And this utilizes a rating system for building systems and the building structure. And we look at industry recognized useful lives. So many of you probably have this sense and this understanding, but building systems have a recognized estimated useful life and that they will perform well under, and at some point they need to be replaced. This can be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, depending on the system. So we use that information, visual observations, and for this assessment, there were some prior reports that we looked at as well to determine repair and replacement needs for the building. So I thought I would highlight some of the noteworthy deficiencies that we observed. So we're using the term deficiencies, but this can be several things. It can be repairs that need to be done. It can be deferred maintenance, which are building systems that are past their useful life and should be replaced. And it also includes some potential upgrades, like some ADA concerns that may be needed to be done when some of the other work is performed. So if we start looking at the structure in the exterior, one area of note is that there were some structural issues and safety hazards on the east side of the pool, requiring demolition of that balcony and staircase. The exterior envelope had some deferred maintenance, like we've projected and recommended sealant replacement, window replacement. There's some wired glass that can pose a safety concern. And we've also included roof replacement. So the original roof is past its useful life. Then there are some interior finishes within the first couple of years in this area. And it's refreshment type work on the interior finishes. And we've projected those for 2028 and some in 2029. And then also refinishing the gym floors in 2027. On the plumbing, mechanical, electrical, in the plumbing section, we've got some need to replace fiberglass filters at the pool, replace the domestic hot water tank, and then some of the piping original to the locker rooms, again, is reached the end of its useful life and needs replacement. Mechanical systems are functioning but are aging. So there's a couple of things that need to be done sooner rather than later, replacing the pool heating system and replacing most of the rooftop units. On the electrical side, there really weren't many major deficiencies, and there's some major maintenance or system or component replacement projected in year 2028. On the fire and life safety system side, many of those systems are past their useful life. So we are projecting to replace the fire alarm system, replace the original sprinkler heads in the basement level. And that area, that basement level of the addition does have that wet pipe fire sprinkler system. And it's the only portion of the building that's equipped with a fire suppression system at this time. And that all that piping heads and valves appear to date back to 1978. We have also included installing fire suppression systems throughout the rest of the buildings, which may need to be done depending upon how much work is done in the building and what your local jurisdiction requires. And then in the site systems, there's some sidewalk repair and some parking lot repairs and paving. As you can see, kind of the condition of the parking lot in this picture to the right. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we've included some accessibility issues that are things that may need to be done as you do some work. Your local jurisdiction might require you to do these upgrades. In addition, we've included this installation of the elevator. And after you tear down those men's locker room stairs, this may become more of a necessity. And then the restrooms and the locker rooms were not compliant with ADA. So as you do construction work, that may be required, those upgrades. So we've included costs for that as well. So when we look at that all together, we've looked at a 20-year period. And so when you look at the total need over that 20-year period, we're projecting $15.7 million. And that includes a couple of key things. The first one is remediation of those current deficiencies, some of which I've highlighted for you here, and those potential ADA upgrades in the next 2 years. And that alone is $5.6 million. Across that 20-year period, we've also included major maintenance, which is your system or component replacement. So as systems age and they reach the end of their useful life and you need to replace them, we've projected that out year by year for the next 20 years. That and some upgrades would be $7.6 million. And then we took an additional step to look at not only those major deficiencies or major system replacements, but what are the preventive and corrective maintenance that would typically be done over a 20-year period, and that itself is $2.5 million. And we did want to also note for you guys that we looked at a 20-year period, which is pretty standard in the industry, but we looked at 20 years. There are some other major maintenance system type replacement that will need to be done outside of that 20 years and fairly soon after that. So like at the 2040s and 2050s, and one major item is that roof, which we are projecting at the beginning of this cycle. So in 20 years, you're looking at roof replacement options again. So to just kind of show you a little bit how that shakes out, we have in our report a full spreadsheet that lists exactly what is needed in each year by major system. But here's kind of a look overall at that 20-year period. And the orange is that, deferred maintenance, or that quote unquote deficiencies that we've identified that need to be done in those first 2 years. And then the gray is that preventive and corrective maintenance. That's your, day-to-day replacing filters, maybe replacing some pumps or other smaller components like that. And then the blue is that major maintenance, which is that more of that capital renewal, system replacement, like your roofs, your HVAC equipment, things like that. So you can see how there's some work needed in the next couple of years to do some of that deferred maintenance and get some of those systems replaced. And then you kind of even out, and you've got just sort of ongoing costs for that replacement or that maintenance. So that's the highlights that we wanted to give you. And we are here to answer any additional questions that you may have about the report, its contents, or any of our findings.
Council?
Your Honor.
Councilor Higgerson.
So as we all know, I'm the liaison to the OTCC. They did send me a list of 4 questions that I would like to ask. You could just answer them in a yes or no fashion. We don't need to go into all the details and all that for now. Their first question is the FEA recommendation to install an elevator the only way to meet ADA requirements?
No.
Are there any repairs that you guys have recommended immediately critical to the continued operation of the Civic Center?
There are some safety hazards that we identified.
Okay, that answers my next question. There's some safety issues that require immediate action. Can you see any other perspectives other than the FEA report recommendations that could result in the continued successful operation of the Civic Center?
So, our report is focused on what are the projected financial needs of the building, and lays out what the maintenance issues are now, some of the repairs and deferred maintenance, and then lays out a plan for continual maintenance of that building.
Thank you very much. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Further questions?
I would like to know if
Councilor
we
Zadi?
can get an explanation. An elevator isn't the only option. What are the other options?
So we did not do an ADA study of the building. We're merely noting that if you do some of these renovations, and it's local, it's up to the local AHJ as to what they would require, but there are some potential that these things would be triggered. And then you do have the issue of the men's locker room if you demolish those stairs.
Thank you.
Okay. Further questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here to go over this with us. And our special meeting is adjourned. We will reconvene at 7 o'clock.